Hey there, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another review, this time of the 2004 film I, Robot, starring Will Smith. You also have Bruce Greenwood, James Cromwell, Alan Tudyk, who is in Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. He plays the robot named Sonny. You have a very short, small role by Shia LaBeouf. And this is directed by Alex Proyas. Same guy who directed the first Crow film. He also did Dark City, and I enjoyed both of those movies. And then after this, he did the Nicolas Cage film Knowing and Gods of Egypt, which I haven't seen, but I've heard it's a train wreck from hell. Now, I, Robot, this is a film that no one really talks about anymore. And it's pretty forgotten. When people talk about Will Smith, they bring up Independence Day, which is a movie I really enjoy. I reviewed that film on this channel. Bad Boys 1 and 2, which I reviewed. I think I reviewed those, and those are movies I enjoy. Or they talk about his newer films, but this one, fairly forgotten. When it came out, it did not do that well critically, and box office-wise, it didn't seem like it did as well as maybe expected. Just from what I understand, it cost about 120 million and only made about 140 million in the US. Maybe a little over 300 million worldwide, which doesn't sound gangbusters, at least compared to today and compared to the budget. But I guess it did okay enough because there were talks at one point of a sequel, but it never came to be. And the reason I'm reviewing this, I picked this up for $3 on Blu-ray. It has the special features that were on the 2-disc DVD. Watch it again. I thought it held up. I still really enjoyed this flick. Will Smith, you could say it's Will Smith being Will Smith, but you know what? He does a good job being Will Smith. He's got charisma, likability, and enjoyed the character of Spooner, Detective Spooner. I thought Alex Proyas did a pretty damn good job directing the film. I thought the effects for the time, 2004, which was, jeez, I didn't realize how long ago that was. I feel old. And I thought it went at a good pace, never got bored with it. I don't really have much problems with the film, other than this is one stupid running thing about him getting these Converse All-Star sneakers, like the vintage 2004 Converse All-Star sneakers. And it came out 2004, but this is supposed to be like 2035 in Chicago. It's like, okay, if that's not fucking advertising, if that's not a fucking promo stuck right in the middle of your movie, I don't know what is. So I didn't care for that little bit that's sprinkled throughout the film. But other than that, I enjoyed the story. It's very, very, very loosely based on Isaac Asimov's I, Robot, dealing with the 3 laws of robotics, which is they don't kill anybody, hurt anybody, they obey unless it deals with killing, hurting somebody, and they keep themselves alive unless again involves hurting and or killing somebody. And in the future, everyone trusts these robots to the point of people own them, and they're getting this big production line of robots to almost every home in America. Our lead character here has a little bit of a backstory. He has nightmares of something that happened where he was in the ocean, he was in the water in a car that was smashed into another car, and there was a little girl stuck there, and you find out later what all happened during that. He has these wounds, scars on his arm. It was his left arm, and you find out what happened with that. Long story short, the arm was lost, and he had to get stuff built. So technically, he has a robot arm, which reminded me of Virtuosity with Denzel Washington, which is another movie I enjoy, and I reviewed on this channel. I'll probably put Virtuosity over this just because Virtuosity has an R-rated tone and feel to it, but I still really enjoy this film. Thought it was a fun popcorn movie. But both Denzel and Will Smith, they both have the robotic arm. I like that idea. And I like the look, the design of the robots. Again, it's a 2004 film, so the CGI is not spanking new, sleek. Well, sleek is the right word. It is sleek. So I think the right word I want to use is not as, you do tell it's CGI, of course. It's not as smooth as maybe CGI today, but I give it leniency considering the time it was made. But I like that, all these robots everywhere. There's FedEx robots, there's robots that walk your dogs, that take out the trash. Shia LaBeouf, if you're worried about him, I don't mind Shia LaBeouf. Just in real life, he's apeshit crazy. In movies, I don't mind him. Like, I like Eagle Eye, I like Disturbia. But if you're worried about him, he's only in about 2-3 scenes. He's in one scene at the beginning here, and then we don't see him until like 2 or so scenes in the third act of the film. So, at most 3 minutes, at most. So, but yeah, if you worry about Shia, don't be, because he's not in the film that much. And Will Smith, again, it could be Will Smith playing Will Smith, but I think he does that fairly well. He sees his grandma. She's like, hey, you listen to me. He's pretending to sleep. He plays a character. You see a little bit of dramatic elements from Will. For example, he has this paranoia about robots ever since this incident back in the day. So he chases a robot who's holding something. He thinks it's stealing something. He stops it. And then the woman's like, what the hell are you doing? That's my robot. He was getting an inhaler for me. Get off him. And Chi McBride, he's been in a few films. I think he was in, I want to say, Cradle to the Grave. He's been in a few other films. He plays the chief of police. And I like that he's not an outright dick. You tell him and Will Smith are friends, and he's trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but then he's also telling him, hey, these robots, none of them have ever done anything like this, and come on, ease up. So I like that he wasn't the typical, give me your badge, fuck you type of chief. He wasn't too much of a dick. So I like that they, again, did not go in that route with that character. And the story really starts where he comes upon this suicide, which is James Cromwell's character, as a guy who Will Smith knew. And he's left this hologram message. And Will Smith goes, well, this is a suicide. Why did you have me here? And James Cromwell's message goes, I trust your judgment. Just one of those messages that if you ask the right question, it will give you a response. And then it's revealed that you think it's him talking to Will, and then it's revealed that it was just a hologram, and his real dead body of suicide is back there. And it's this good chunk of the film is the investigation into this guy's death, who works with these robotics. And the head guy there is played by Bruce Greenwood, who most people probably remember him now from the Star Trek 2009 movie, and I think he was in the second film as well, Into Darkness. And I like the sense of humor of the film. It wasn't dick jokes or shit jokes or fart jokes like you would see in a Michael Bay movie or Sally and quite a few other big budget movies nowadays. I thought Alex Proyas did a good job keeping the pace of the film decent, so I never really got bored with it. I like some of the sense of humor where, like, Will Smith asked Bruce Greenwood, hey, sugar, what? For the coffee. Oh, you think I call you sugar? Believe me, you're not that rich. So I like some of that stuff. Or like, oh yeah, you make these robots. We know what, how about this? Here's a commercial idea. You have a regular guy building a chair, and then you have a robot build that twice as fast. And then you know, your company, USR, shitting on the little guy. I liked his character. I liked the bits of humor he has. When the action scenes happen, I enjoyed them. At times, there's some nice usage of slow-mo. For example, when he finds this robot, who we later find is Sonny, voiced, and also he did the motion capture of the robot, Alan Tudyk, who's been in quite a few films. I remember him more from one of the two leads in Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which is a very underrated film, great flick. So it was, I forgot he was in this as the main robot, doing the voice and the motion capture. So that was really cool, revisiting this again. And they chase it. They get to this factory where you see all these robots lined up, and Will Smith tries to figure out how to find them. He does. Thing gets caught, interrogates it, and he realizes that this robot's different. It has emotions, it has dreams. He keeps asking it, hey, how come you murdered him? He's like, I did not murder him, and he hits the table and smashes it, and you realize that this robot's fairly different from others. But like I said, throughout the film, I thought there's some nice little bits of action. I like the maze of robots that Will Smith's going through to chase this robot Sonny. Later on, he investigates James Cromwell's house, and the computer changes from demolition from the morning to that night. So this demolition robot tears through the entire house, and Will Smith gets the cat that's there, and he gets out of there. Thought there's some nice practical effects being done, as well as some CGI enhancements. I enjoyed that scene. I like the second half of the film. You have the sequence where he's on the road. Granted, it's weird in this scene, because it's one of those futures where the cars are self-driving. In that scene, the entire road is empty. Like, there's no other cars, which I'm like, that's weird. Why are there no other? That's very convenient. Just then later on when he's like, it's the robots. It's like, well, conveniently enough, there's no other people to help Will Smith's story, because why is there no one else on the road? I thought that was kind of weird. But I still enjoy the action scene because it was these two big vehicles which have a shitload of robots. One's behind him, one's in front of him. And Will Smith goes, no way my luck is that bad. He just gets attacked by all these robots. And he has to spin it. And yeah, that's one of the moments that the CGI doesn't hold up as well today as back then. But again, I'm enjoying the film, being lenient on it. And then there's some nice shots. They take a real car on its side and they slide it, and Will Smith has to get away. And that's where we get the reveal that his arm is robotic, is made of metal, and he fights this one robot hand to hand and has this pipe on it. He's blocking the robot with his arm. There's this female, I guess you call her scientist, played by Bridget Moynahan. Her acting's okay, but the character, I didn't really find that likable because she was one of those. Sorry, my nose is itching. She's one of those that it's the point of the character where her head is in the sand, not listening to Will. So that when Will goes, you are the dumbest smart person I've ever met. Like, you see what he's saying? So, I don't know, the character wasn't really the most interesting character she played, or wasn't really the most likable character. Like, she's there, but it's not like, oh, I really like this character. Or, I probably more dislike than like, but she's there. I think she's one of the weaker points in the movie, just based on how the character was written. Just fairly, for me, uninteresting character, and the actress, she does an okay job. It's not like there's a lot of big charisma or personality, which, someone Will Smith does have. And like I said, throughout the film, there's some nice bits of humor I do enjoy, some nice bits of dialogue. Like, after the demolition robot fucks him up, he goes to his grandma, and the grandma... No, not his grandma, the... Was it the scientist lady? And he's like, hey, do you own a cat? I found a cat that's homeless. He's about to tell the story, and the girl goes, oh, cats did this to you? He's like, how the hell would cats do this to me? Are you crazy? I liked his delivery of that line. I liked another line that he tells Bruce Greenwood where he sneezes. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit. That's one of the first times I heard that line, so from time to time when I use that in my reviews, when I sneeze, I'm like, oh, I'm allergic to bullshit. It's from this movie. Just, I think that is the first time I heard that line was in this movie. Damn, when you sneeze, like, oh, sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit. So I like that. I also thought Will Smith, again, he does some nice dramatic moments, like when he tells the story of how this one day both him and this other car got knocked off, and they were both pinned, and this robot came down, and he's saying, save her, but the robot saves him. And he's like, from then on, he was mad at the robot for making the rational decision when, instead of, like, why am I here and not the girl? You should have saved the girl's life and not me. So, survivor's guilt. Best way to put it. And I really enjoy the third act, where this revolution happens and these robots go apeshit. They attack the police station. And a lot of Will Smith running and gunning, shooting the shit out of one. Tells the female scientist, I told you so. Just doesn't quite say it. Always save Shia LaBeouf, and he's on the motorcycle, a nice slow-mo where he gets the two guns shooting the evil robots. Sonny, voiced by Alan Tudyk, he's a good robot. And he helps Will Smith out at a certain point when those two and the female scientist get into this building to find out what's really going on. And he has some nice fight scenes with Sonny. Sonny fighting some robots. Will Smith fighting some robots. I do like this part of the film where before he had asked Will, what does this mean? Oh, it's a wink. It's a matter of trust. And you see a follow-up of that. Again, I like the way it's set up where he's got the girl, there's other robots, he does a wink, Will Smith trusts him, he shoots one, shoots the other. Again, some nice uses of slow-mo mixed in with the action. And then they get to you find out it's the evil computer, the head computer, named Vicky. And again, nice straightforward action scenes where just shooting these robots. There's one that he just rips the neck out. A lot of gunfire, body count of the robots. Sonny fights some robots. Especially as the evil robots are crawling up like spiders. And tells the robot to save the girl, and he gets the thing they need and slides down, and pieces of the arm is falling off and revealing more of the robotic arm as he just slides all the way down to where he needs to go. I always liked that shot. I always liked that idea. Just made the hero more badass. Like, he's going through this. Like, it's over the top. It's popcorn fun. It's not... people could say it's not smart filmmaking, but you know what? As long as it's fun, I enjoy it. I just love the bit where he's sliding down and the metal arm gets more revealed. He's sliding down and jets into the brain and kills the evil robot brain, mother computer. Realize he can trust a robot, shakes a robot's hand. To me, it's a satisfying popcorn movie at the end of the day. While I do have some nitpicks and little... like, that's where the one scene, like, the whole road is clear except him, or this advertisement for Converse shoes of 2004. And the female, Bridget Moynahan, it's not really an interesting character to me. She was kind of bland, boring character. Those nitpicks aside, I thought it was a well-paced, entertaining action film. Definitely, I would say a better version I don't mind the Bruce Willis film Surrogates as a time waster, but this is definitely the better version of it. And that's why when the Surrogates came out, I'm like, wow, that's weird. They already remade iRobot. Just a very less action-packed, less exciting version of iRobot. But yeah, I can watch it as a time waster. Like, eh. But this is definitely the much better movie. And really enjoyed the action scenes. Will Smith thought he was very charismatic, had a good personality in the flick, liked his character. Some nice set pieces like the robots attacking his car, the demolition robot in James Cromwell's house, or the finale was just a lot of gunfighter, shooting evil robots left to right with either his pistol, his little machine gun. The other cast members, Bruce Greenwood, James Cromwell, Chi McBride, they did find what they had to do. Alan Tudyk, nice to see him. Well, hear him. Yeah, I forgot he played the good robot in this, Sonny. I liked him. The score was alright, fit the film, fine for what it had to be. The special effects, for the most part, are pretty decent. Yeah, there are times that they don't hold up quite, but it's been over a decade. Yeah, I can be lenient on that. And there's some special effects that are fairly decent. I don't mind the design of the robots. So the white sleekness and having facial features. Even Will Smith's character himself goes, hey, why do you give these guys facial features? Make them appear more human, make people trust them. Again, Alex Proyas did a very more than competent. Like, competent seems like just okay. He did better than that, in my opinion, in the directing job. I would say this is the last great film that Alex Proyas did. Because, again, I like The Crow. I really like Dark City. Knowing is there. It's okay. Gods of Egypt I didn't see, so I would say this is the last really good Alex Proyas film. Might even be my favorite. Because, like, Dark City is definitely the more smarter movie. But this one, and I really enjoy Dark City, but I would say as a popcorn entertainment, that's usually my go-to with movies, and this definitely fits the fits that criteria. So, yeah. Like the plot, interesting enough story, some nice set-piece action sequences. Film looked pretty good on Blu-ray. Really like Will Smith and his character in the film. Overall, definitely one of the better films of the 2000s in my opinion. And easily one of my favorite Will Smith movies. My favorite probably be the Bad Boys 1 and 2, considering how much I talk about shit about Michael Bay. But when he sticks to stuff like Bad Boys 1 and 2, I think that's his comfort zone. I think he works the best in that. But this would definitely be in my top 5 Will Smith movies. So thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.